Welcome to our next segment, sponsored by CWA Local 1180 and its president, Gloria Middleton. The topic at hand for this segment is a very important one, an interesting one: millennials and politics. Those that have been born between 1981, I said it, 1981 and 1996. Before I bring in the president here, the panel, the folks that are with me, we are joined by Amanda Novello. Amanda is a representative from our private sector shops. She works at the Century Foundation. For this segment, she's our millennial on hand. We are joined by Sharon Hepburn, who is an administrative manager with the New York City Comptroller's Office. We are also joined by Mr. Anthony Lewis, who is a PAA at HRA, and we're joined by Mary Mason, a Local 1180 retiree from HRA. So, Madam President, the topic of millennials and politics, it seems to be almost a new day.
It absolutely is. The statistics have shown that the millennials are now voting more blue than red, which is upsetting the Republicans. The millennials will be the new baby boomers shortly, and will replace the silent generation that was not out there voting at all. We have a millennial amongst us. And I'd like to hear her views of where politics are going with her generation.
It's a big question. Every generation has its big issues, and some people like to think that ours are no different, but they feel a lot different. They feel really big and really scary. We have almost, we're going to have $2 trillion in student debt with no relief in sight. People aren't able to make big investments that your generation maybe did because they didn't have that burden. The climate is changing faster than scientists said that it was going to, and the evidence is all around us. Inequality, rapid income and wealth inequality is growing and continues to, and that threatens democracy. So I think all these things are things that my generation is going to have to take on and is thinking about. And I think that it's welcoming to see some new blood in politics, because it feels like the new people, the people that are more our age, talking more like us, speaking to our issues, is definitely welcome compared to some of the trends, the demographic trends that we've seen in politics in the past.
AOC has been a big topic of debate. Our Congresswoman from Queens. It seems like the Republicans are afraid of her, and some Democrats too, because she has a real left progressive movement going. That some call her the Democratic Socialist. We all may not agree at the same time of certain things, but I think she's a new face. She's progressive. She is moving towards where we should be. I'd like my generation to talk about that.
Sometimes I feel that they want to move faster, especially those in Congress. My feel is you need to go in, get acquainted, get your feet wet before you jump in the water. So I'm all for them being forward-coming and for all the new things and the new ideas and pushing hard, because it seems as if those who have already been there have not pushed hard enough. But I do feel that they need to just slack up just a little, because with experience comes the patience and all that is required to get things done.
Responses?
I totally disagree. I'm sorry, but I think they need to move fast, because time is not waiting for any man, and there's a lot of things that needs to be done, especially that it seems right now like we're going backward as opposed to going forward. So I think it's important that the younger generation get involved more and move fast to help to slow down this climate change and this government that is so out of control. So the faster they learn, getting their feet wet and moving, that's what I want to see. So I definitely support them moving a little faster.
But
Not fast
I
enough.
think to Mary's point, and then we got to get Anthony and get Amanda in back on this. But Sharon, but I think to Mary's point, I believe she's saying that they don't have the experience yet, and more importantly, they don't have the votes to get it done. That's the point that I think she's making.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because to be in politics, I was once told that you need the experience before you get other people along to vote with you, specifically in Congress. All right, if you're a congressman and you're coming on, this is your first year, and then you have someone who have 4 years in, that person has more experience, can get more things done, and have more people to get done for you. But if you come in and you come in with too much gusto, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being out there, but there's a time and a place to be out there, and
Mary,
then you'll be heard better.
Mary, I hear Amanda sighing over there. I heard her sighing. Was that accurate? Was that accurate?
Probably.
Okay, now why is that the
realize.
case? Why is that the case?
I think that, AOC is just representative of, a number of people and a whole organization called Justice Democrats who's pushing progressive politics into the mainstream and pushing a lot of candidates to represent progressive platforms. And these policies are already extremely popular. Like, you look at the polls on Green New Deal, Medicare for All, a number of things. They come in with gusto. They also come in with a movement behind them, and a movement that was generated by a lot of enthusiasm from them and from whole millions of young people who really care about these issues.
So to Sharon's point, get it done.
Yes, I totally
definitely.
agree. Break up the monopoly. That's what you got to do, because they're not doing anything. It's the same thing over and over again. Years gone by, nothing changed. Won't you want to see change for your grandchildren? I would. If I.
Mr. Anthony?
Well, you got the millennials in politics. You also got the millennials voting. The millennials say their votes don't count. This is why they're tired of the same old rhetoric. That's why they don't want to go to the polls. If they see a fiery, feisty politician voicing their concerns and rah, they're going to be more willing to go vote for that person. And now they feel confident that my vote will count. There will be changes because that person is fighting hard every day, not going against the status quo. And the torch got to be passed sooner or later.
And I just want to say there's a lot of clique going on within politics, because I've been out advocating, and it's funny because I didn't realize how political the whole system was. Whether it's in school, I'm in the school and advocating and helping parents, and I'm seeing how connected it is to politics and the red tape you have to go through just to get information, just to get anything done. It's a long haul. So we need more aggression from people. We need more push, and I think the younger generation.
Madam President, I just want to say what Sharon just said. Let's go back several weeks to the first segment that we did, when you made the very valid point that you had to sue for information. To her point, you settled the EEO case with the city, but you had to sue to get the information that your union members was entitled to.
Exactly. To Mary's point, I understand what she's saying, because Congress is a political machine. There are people who have been there for too long, in my opinion, some of them, and they are blockers for people like AOC to advance. So what she's saying is learn how to manipulate those people so that we can make change.
Absolutely.
Because if you have seniority in Congress, you have the power. Okay, so, and the politicians will work against you. They will go in your district and have somebody run against you to make sure you don't get back in.
In a primary.
So, in a primary. So I understand where Mary is coming from. At the same time, Democrats have to do something different.
Yeah.
My generation is tired of the same old thing. We have heard this rhetoric over and over again of what we're going to do. We're going to play nice with the Republicans. We're going to do this. We're going to, and nothing. Congress is stalemated. It's not going anywhere. And that's why I think young people like AOC has been able to get into politics, because everybody is tired. We need to find politicians who are going to move and set the agenda with what democracy is supposed to look like. Okay? We have fallen short of that. We have gone backwards. I remember the days of King. I was around, y'all. Of Martin Luther King. He was called a revolutionary. Okay? You know, Malcolm was even greater a revolutionist than him, but they did not like Martin Luther King's politics. How dare you say equal rights? What's that? Because that's when, you know, it was separation, separate but equal. That was supposed to be a notion. So we have to, even the older generation have to work with the millennials to get things changed.
Well, President Middleton, you made some very valid points as it relates to that issue, and I'm glad that the union made sure that you have a millennial on the panel, Amanda Novello. We thank you for joining us during this segment. The next one is equally important. In fact, it's more important. We're going to wrap up our discussions, and we're going to hear from the 4 members of this panel, plus, of course, the president of your union on the importance of unions. We hope that you'll join us.